Hey, fight fans, this is Dr. Don Four. I'm here to talk to you about Porter's five forces model, or as I like to call it, Porter's six forces model. I do that because Michael Porter's always adding things to make the model stronger, and something he added quite a while ago was stakeholders, and made it six forces. So when I say Porter's six forces model, my students know what I'm talking about, but I always caveat it. If you look it up anywhere in the internet, it's going to be called Porter's five forces. But I think it's a very strong model to use for strategic analysis. And this is, if you ever look at any of my videos, you've probably seen this model before, especially in strategic management. But this model is kind of a pictorial view of your strategic planning course, or maybe even your MBA or your bachelor's degree, because it takes every course into consideration. And so I won't go into the particulars on this. You can look at strategic management model video if you'd like that. But I will talk about the part over here, which is the analysis part. Analysis is one of the most critical things you do in strategic planning, because the more you know about your organization and the competition, the better decisions you can make. And face it, that's what this is all about, making good decisions. And so I believe, and I strongly believe, that you start your analysis with Porter's six forces model. And you see down at the bottom, I have it's kind of in the center. And what your goal is to come up with a really good strength, weaknesses, opportunities, and threats with as much information as humanly possible that you can come up with. And this is a living document. You want to keep pumping information into it, because if you get offered an opportunity to bring on a new product, you want to know your resources. You want to know if you can do it, or if you have the borrowing capacity, and you want to make sure you don't make mistakes right up front. And so if you use Porter's six forces model, and if you look at it down here at the bottom, the model is made up of threats of new substitute products who could take your business away from you, threats of new entrants to the market that could come in, uh, suppliers, buyers, and stakeholders. That's the five surrounding the center, but the center is critical. The center is the firm and the competition, and that's where I think all the different strategic management models come into play. And I've got some of them listed over here. We're going to go through that in just a minute, but there's a lot more than I've got in this video. There, and feel free to use what makes you comfortable. One of the first things my students say is, "Wow, do I have to do all that? That'll be a 55 pages of writing." And the truth is, you don't have to. What you have to do is you have to find models that you're comfortable with, that you can run your company. And if you do that, you'll be successful. A lot of these models overlap, a lot of the information overlaps, so you don't need to waste time by repeating data you already have. You want to put it together in the best model, and there's several in there that will do that for you. Now, you talk about a busy slide. This is designed to really confuse people, but in reality, this is Porter's six forces model in a pictorial view that will help you. If you look at the model, I've got Porter's six forces in the middle here, and I've got all these blue lines kind of you're trying to get the best SWOT analysis you can. And so there are probably hundreds of models. And the reason I say this is kind of a pictorial view of maybe your entire degree, because things you learned in human resource class, finance class, budgeting class, marketing class, all those issues, bring them in here and use them. Use these, because you learn analysis in every single class you went into. Use those. And so, and there's a lot of models out there. I've kind of listed a lot of the more popular ones, but if you look at it, some really strong analysis, environmental analysis. I really believe in the environmental analysis, because you look at things like societal, political, regulatory, in economic, technology. You look at all those, and you do a deep dive into it to see what's affecting your company. The one beside it, a trend analysis. This was Clarence Mann out of the University of Maryland, and he's got an article out there, the 360-degree analysis, I believe he calls it. But it really gets into the weeds, and it takes the environmental analysis and brings it into the modern day, where we're really looking at corporate social responsibility, and we looked at things like symbols and trends, and we deep dive into personnel. So you're looking at the same thing that the environmental analysis does, but you're getting you're making sure that your company serves the population it's supposed to serve and takes care of people and is inclusive and fair and diverse and does what it needs to do to be a part of the community that you're in. Um, Dominant economic characteristics, you should always know what it is that drives your industry. And PESTLE is just another way of looking at the environmental analysis, a financial analysis, income statement, balance sheet, ratio analysis, human resources. We want to look at things like hiring practices, firing practices, progressive discipline, the award system, the reward system, promotion system, all the things you do in human resources that makes your company strong. The marketing, the 4 Ps of marketing, you want to do a deep dive into price, promotion, place, and people, and the value chain model. You want to look at the value chain model to see how all your supporting elements are supporting your distribution to your cradle to grave operations of beginning to manufacturing to out the door distribution. Boston Consulting Group model is another good one, and I'm just going through these briefly. Cover them better in my strategic management model video, and we're going to go into these in future videos. We'll go into each one of these, but the Boston Consulting Group model is one of my favorite. You take a restaurant like Ruby Tuesdays. They'll have all their menu items in a Boston Consulting Group model, and they compare them against each other. And if you ever wonder why your favorite meal goes away, it's because people aren't buying it. It moved down to the dog category and moved out. There's some analysis out there that are popular, like the internal factor analysis, the external factor analysis, and the summary factor analysis. And these are models that look at your strengths, weaknesses, opportunities, and threats, and they really do a deep dive into the weeds, and they make it quantitative, and they make you weigh the different elements to see how important they are to your organization and how they match up against the competition. Organizational culture is another good one. Industry and competitive analysis. Key success factors. Every company needs key success factors to make them go. Some things they have to do right. The strategic group map is where you compare yourself to the competition. Operations management, you're looking at parts, processes, people, and parts, processes, people, and the fourth one. But anyway, we're looking at product. There you go. Sorry, the looking at all 4 of those in order to make sure that you're solid in that area. And so you see, you can't use all these. It would take you forever to use, to really do a deep dive on all these models. But you use the ones that you feel comfortable with, and it helps you guide your company. Remember, it's all about decision making. Okay, and just real fast, when you look at Porter's model, the threat of substitute products, the stakeholders, suppliers, threats of new entrants to the market, and the buyers. Threat of substitute products is high when the switching costs are low. So if somebody can just come in and open up a company like yours real cheap, like 3D printing is today, you might have to do a lot better quality-wise, or you could lose your business. Threats low when switching costs are high. And I like to use our learning management system. A lot of schools use Canvas, and Canvas is not real expensive. It's not cheap. It's one of the middle of the line. It's really a good system, and but the switching costs are high because not only do you have to pay a premium to switch from Canvas, you also have to retrain the students. You have to retrain the faculty. You have to make sure that it connects to the grades and all the things that it has to keep a school running. And so the switching costs are high. That still means you have to have good customer service and good quality, or you could be in trouble. Threats of new entrants to the market. It's all about entry barriers. Is your product different and something that's unique to you? Do you have some certain regulation that you really hone in on that makes you better than everybody else? Do your customers have brand loyalty? What's the cost to switch? These are all things you have to consider about new entrants to the market. And then the bargaining power of suppliers. How many are in the system? What's the switching cost? What's the size? I took a class through Value Pack, the blue pack envelope that you get in the mail every month with coupons. And there's three size of 3 football fields, a cradle to grave operation. And it was an operations management class. We went in there, we looked at it, and the operations manager told us when he took over, he saved $2 million the first year because he rebid supplies, and in ink alone, he saved $2 million. So you get comfortable with suppliers sometimes, and they'll price creep on you. Bargaining power to buyers, how many are in the market, what's their sensitivity to price. I've seen companies raise the price just a little and lose all their business, so you have to really understand your people and take care of that. Marketing, information available, and then stakeholders, the one that Porter's added. There's a lot of stakeholders in your company, probably a lot more than I have listed up here. And the thing about stakeholders, some of them clash. Like the environmentalists, they don't want you to dirty the river or mess with the trees, but your shareholders want you to maximize shareholder wealth, and that doesn't always bode. They want you to do the minimum you have for the environment. The environmental folks want you to do the maximum you can. And so unions versus employees versus employers, all these things have to be balanced. All the stakeholders have to be balanced in order to be successful. And so this is what it looks like again. This is Porter's 6 forces. This is a lot of the analysis. There's a lot more. But the firm and the competition, it's all about decision making. You want to understand as much as you possibly can about your company, and you want to be able to make good decisions. So again, this is just another quick view. And this is the end. So this is Dr. Don 4. I'm signing out. I hope you've enjoyed this video. I'll have more coming. I'm trying to put together a series of the different elements of strategic management. And I appreciate you taking the time to listen to my video. Thank you very much.